Welcome to Generation Dan, where Dino, I guess, puts a mask on in between when he starts the stream and when the episode starts. The podcast. What is that? A skunk? Welcome to the podcast about generational differences.
It is a giant cat head. Thank you very much, and I love it. It scares the shit out of my cat. So.
I bet it does. I'm Atlas Novak. I'm your millennial. Who else is here with me?
I'm Dino, the genetic marvel. I'm your resident old person, and our guest today is the one and only Mr. Fantastic himself, who has gone viral multiple times since last being on here, is Kyle Petryla.
Hello. Yeah, viral.
You sound so sad about it. Hello.
Viral on the internet, not with just dates or anything.
That's fair. So it is this is the weekend before Halloween, which for anyone
recording this anyway.
That we're recording this. So anyone who has a real job, this is your Halloween. That's basically how that works. So Kyle and I are working a Halloween village called Hexwood, as I've said on this podcast before. And let's be honest. So Kyle is even scarier than I am, right? And however, people are falling in love with Kyle constantly. He's just getting numbers from people, just walking up and they're like, call me sometime, hot stuff. And it is wild. He has gone viral a couple times. The newest one is for a country song. Fantastic. What? I'm not joking. It's on TikTok. If you do yourself a favor, people, go to The Haunting of Hexwood on TikTok and check it out. And Kyle is all over it. And people love him. It's hilarious.
Oh my God. Yeah. And okay, so it's at the time of recording this, October 29th. I saw my first Christmas commercial yesterday.
What?
For Old Navy. I was like, no. The point of Halloween is to be the bulwark, keeping Christmas ads from starting in
That's
August.
Correct.
That's
correct.
I bought eggnog yesterday. I was like, what the fuck? This should not be a thing yet. And yet here we are.
What if it's like Halloween candy? Like when you buy it too early, it's probably from last year. So that eggnog. Yeah, that eggnog may just be a solid cube of weird cheese.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Generation Diarrhea.
I don't remember having to chew so much.
No, I am a huge eggnog person, especially if you put cinnamon in it. Good
stuff. Yeah. I think eggnog, we discussed this a while ago, was good eggnog is delicious, but bad eggnog is the work of the devil. Yeah, that's definitely. That's a fair...
Well, also my family, the whole rest of my family hates eggnog, which and the only reason I ever got to try it was I remember seeing, this is the most millennial thing I could say, is I saw it on an episode of The Fairly Odd Parents where the dad was really into eggnog. I was like, what is that? That sounds good. And then just tried it on my own. And I liked it. So I'm just an eggnog person, and my sister and both my parents are not.
I feel like Atlas's story of secreting eggnog every day. He's like, what are you doing? He's like, drugs. I'm doing drugs. It's not eggnog, I swear.
I mean, it wasn't I didn't have to keep it a secret. They were just like, ew, you like eggnog? Yeah, But the good thing is Katie and her family love eggnog, and her brother has his own recipe for it, so I get to try that this year, which should be fun.
I'm just gonna throw this out there that this Halloween episode has taken a bad turn immediately.
Yes, this has taken a very Christmas. Oh my God, we fell into the trap! No,
that's exactly.
And then also, I don't know. I've had eggnog. I'm okay with it. The words eggnog did not sound delicious to anybody except Atlas.
No.
That is very true. No.
Yeah.
The name
it's you know what I need? A drink that's made out of eggs.
Yeah.
That sounds fucking delicious.
Now, when you say it like that, I don't know. I'm 50-50. I'm like, I like eggs. I do like drinking things. You're like, maybe this could work some weird way. I don't know. Yeah. Old Navy has conquered this podcast now, and we just switched over to Christmas.
This is brought to you by American Thanksgiving, which doesn't matter either.
which is made up. It is made up. American Thanksgiving is not a real holiday. It's just an imaginary day.
Right. I'm outnumbered.
You are outnumbered by Canadians now.
Shit.
Listen, the funny thing is, okay, Kyle, I've been fighting for this for the longest time where I'm like, listen, Thanksgiving, when Canada has it, shares that celebration with the entire fucking planet except for the United States of America. And America's like, no, November. And you're like, why? November doesn't have other things. Just leave October for Halloween. It's cool. And they're like, no, we're going to celebrate a guy who didn't actually come here. And yeah. And then we murdered a bunch of people. And you're like, okay.
I like the stance of, they probably were like, well, they had Christmas for a while. And then they're like, you know what? We need a turkey fucking a month ago too.
Yeah.
Like, we should eat the exact same shit a month later.
I like having November have a holiday in it compared to just you have Thanksgiving, Halloween, then nothing.
We're in October. You have fucking Christmas already. You have Christmas for fucking all the days. Like, it's also like, you don't need more shit.
Well, apparently now. Yeah.
At the same time, I am interested in like an amuse-bouche turkey. You're like, just wet the palate. A little pre-turkey is not a bad. Yeah. Like, that's the fat guy's dream. You're like, we have the early turkey and then we have the dinner turkey. It's different. It's
first Thanksgiving and second Thanksgiving.
Out of curiosity, all right. So trying to get this back on the Halloween track or whatever. Yeah. So what was like the favorite go-to Halloween activity growing up or in high school? Were you like egg the houses people or trick-or-treating? What was the...
Yeah, I've had a different experience with Halloween up until my 20s. So
that's right. I forgot, Mr. Joe.
Yeah, I didn't celebrate. See, this thing is like, I just sacrifice people for the love of the game, not for Halloween. It was different. The thing is, like, so we would actually have when I hit puberty and turned into a land monster. I started getting roped into security for the Kingdom Hall on Devil's Night because I grew up actually Kyle grew up in close by is in Brampton, where Brampton is quite suburbia, right? So if you don't have a car, you're staying home.
You're stuck there. Yeah. Like
for Kyle and I, we could walk places because we had very long legs, but like realistically, we might get hunted down in the process. So so the problem was that like there's houses everywhere, which makes a perfect escape plan because you just jump into someone else's backyard and then you start hopping fences, right?
Right.
So the Kingdom Hall would get egged every once in a while, so we would run security all night long and just hang out. But hilariously, I remember one time was across the street. We kept on across the street from where the Kingdom Hall was a plaza that had like a grocery store, a pub, a few other things, a bank. Like it was a big.
Like like a mini mall type thing, or like
but quite large. Like say probably the entire parking lot and everything was like an acre size. Like it was a big place, right? Yeah. And we kept on hearing a commotion from across the street, and we were kind of like, "What the fuck's going on over there?" Right? Mm-hmm. Of course, at that point in time, it was like, "What the dickens is going on down there?" But anyways, so sure enough, when we all of a sudden we kind of saw, and then a bunch of cars stopped. Adults got out of their car, and then a herd of kids, like probably about 30 adolescents, jumped out of the bushes, ran across because the Kingdom Hall backed onto a park. So they come running across the street into the Kingdom Hall parking lot, and I'm just standing there looking at them going, what the fuck? And they were egging cars from the bushes. As they would stop to leave the plaza, they would egg the car from the bushes, and you're like, damn, that's fucking hilarious, bro. And then they came by and I'm like, hey guys, and they're like, nope, we're just passing through, we're not doing anything here. I'm like, yeah, that's a good idea. I knew a couple of their older brothers too. I'm like, I could eat you. They're like, that guy definitely eats babies. I'm like, that's not a problem. So but yeah, that
wow,
Devil's Night is definitely popular in suburbia, that's for sure. Do you guys do Devil's Night in the States?
We called it Mischief Night, but yeah, same principle. But yeah, the night before, and you're like egging houses and TPing places and stuff.
Yeah,
such a conservative name.
Super conservative, right?
You know what? We're gonna have a bad night, but we're gonna have it Christian as fuck.
Yeah. The evening of tomfoolery.
Which is funny because I had like a really secular upbringing and I'm from California, so like it's
where the devil lives, but
probably.
Like he definitely has residence there.
Definitely sure. Liberal love.
Oh yeah, the devil lives in Humboldt County. That's
that's like it's not unreasonable.
Or Orange County. Depends on what you consider the devil.
I always liked see. I'm going to just interject and say that my Halloween, since nobody's actually asking.
Well, I mean, the question was to both of you. So.
Oh, well, we're moving on from Dino's sordid past. But no, like Halloween was just like trick-or-treating, and hopefully you didn't have a snowsuit covering your fucking costume. Like those were the prime years.
Yeah.
We didn't have global warming back then.
Oh, so true. Yeah.
You're just walking around waiting for. I can't wait for fucking climate change to make it. Vortex over my badass devil costume or whatever you're dressed as.
Dad, leave the car on. We need to work next year.
Bro, who is it? Taylor Tomlinson does a joke about that. She's like, asking a guy to wear a condom is like telling a kid to wear their jacket over their Halloween costume. They're like, no, you're gonna ruin it. And you're like, that works. That
seems pretty accurate.
Those are both devastating things.
Both devastating things, and
that's why I go viral.
Exactly. To fight it where it counts. No, that's. Yeah,
ruin it.
We're gonna ruin it. I've always I enjoy or used to enjoy seeing kids come to the house and like what costumes they would have and stuff like that. Like some kids really put in their A game, and I'm like, I applaud that. Like it was probably their parents, but still, you're like, you know what? It's worthwhile, right? And other kids are just wearing a mask. You're like, fuck you. You get shit. Here's an apple, asshole.
One of my comedian friends put up a tweet this morning that's like, millennials might be the first generation who likes dressing up for Halloween more than their kids do. It's kind of true.
It's not. Yeah, that is not untrue.
No, but the kids, that's bullshit. Like kids are so fucking fat and lazy today.
Also true.
I'm just taking it. No, but like they have all the candy in the home, so they have no interest to walk for it.
They'll raid their own house before they go to other houses for their candy.
Yeah, like I mean, put in some effort. Fuck.
When I was a kid, the fun, I guess, or it wasn't so much the like, oh, you know, I can get this candy at home. It's the hanging out with your friends thing.
Yeah.
And that's what I think is dead because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And everyone's like hanging out online. The fact that one of the most popular shows with Gen Z is Stranger Things, which is just about a group of friends hanging out.
Oh, so true.
Because of that, like,
hey Atlas, I think your mic is popping again. Oh. It may be switched up. I'm not sure. If it's
that probably helped.
It's no, you know what? That's the weird thing is that.
No, that's.
Is that a? Anyways, that's a good point. But like the idea of the Halloween party, I think, is the funnest thing because people are going to get fucked up.
Oh yeah,
like people do not like. I'm a little saddened this year that it's on a Tuesday because the people who party on Tuesday, you're like, oh, you got like real problems. That's okay.
Yeah.
And there's like, I'm escaping from everything, and you're like, you have 6 kids, bro. You can't escape from that. They got you. Like
it's funny because we work like Thursday through Sunday, so Tuesday's like my party night.
How ironic.
Yeah.
There was so like this yesterday. My sister had her Halloween party. We'll talk about that more later in the episode. But my mom was at the party last night too. And
really?
It's her daughter's Halloween party. Why wouldn't she go, right? But
she just kind of seems like a narc, just a little bit.
But anyway, we're at the party. Me, Katie, and Katie's best friend and the friend's husband, the 4 of us. And my mom was like, "So what are you guys gonna do on actual Halloween night?" I'm like, "This is it. This is the notes, you know." Yeah. Halloween itself, I have, I work at a school with a bunch of kids who are going to be in costume. So that during the actual day, and then at night, I'm going to get high and watch The Shining. That's what I'm doing. Like,
oh, that's a good time though.
Yeah,
yeah. And if you get like realistically, if you get home early enough, you could watch The Shining and then watch the Doctor. What's the follow up for The Shining? Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep.
Yeah, which is pretty good. I thought.
Good.
Yeah.
I never actually got to see that. I should.
Yeah, no, it's good. You know what? I do enjoy right now that all of the scary movies are coming out on all the streaming services, which I'm like, I like scary movies I like scary movies year round because they are fun and exciting. Because I'm like, no, like my biggest problem with the Halloween movies before Rob Zombie did them was I'm like, that guy isn't big enough to pick up a guy like that. And I'm like, see, Kyle and I
when you say
size where you can grab somebody by the throat and lift them up on a wall, right?
When you say Halloween movies, you mean Michael Myers, right?
Yeah, like
okay, all right. Yeah, okay, cool.
Actually, hilariously, last night, so the character that I play with, so you guys, here's me and Kyle posing with people, so exciting. Is a lot of times I just stare at people, and just because they have to walk right through me and a narrow corridor. With them briefly, and they're like, at first because they come in front of me and I'm behind like a barricade, and they're like, ugh! And then they realize they have to walk by me. They're like, I was just playing. I swear to God, please don't kill me. And and then the Michael Myers Halloween soundtrack came on the mic, and then it's like, doo, 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 doo. And I'm just looking at them, and they're like, fuck. No, and I'm like, nah. Yeah.
I love the idea of people out loud saying "fuck no," like just in the middle of a haunted house.
Hey, non-fucking stop, right?
Yeah.
And like that's the thing is, I'm like hidden around a corner. Kyle is the butcher, and the butcher has been like the main highlight of the event. So he has like a lineup most of the evening, and people just wanting to be scared by the butcher. Hilariously, then all sorts of little women are like, "Here, call me," and he's like, "No." It is a hilarious turn of events, but like it's like I just stand there staring at people and creeping them the absolute fuck out, and they're like, "Jesus fuck," and I'm like, I feel like that I missed my calling. I should have been a murderer, like just not just allegedly, but
See, like, I spent so long trying to not be creepy, and it's working out very good. And we spent so many years not murdering, and it's like, what are we doing? Maybe we're costing society things that are dually needed.
I feel like
cheers
to everyone even Alice.
Fuck you too, Joey.
Yeah, that's great. It's one of those things where you like I have always Kyle and I have bonded over so many shared experiences of being gigantic. Okay. And it's like I never approach a woman in my single day. Like I would never, even I'm hesitant to approach women as out of friendship now because I'm like, yeah, if I have read the situation wrong and I approach you, I have immediately cut off all exits, and that is not a good look. It's not a appropriate thing. And however, now they're like, the creepier you are, they're like, I want to take a picture with you because I want to remember this moment. You're like, that's fucking weird. But
turning it on its head.
I try to make it so that they'll remember the moment regardless of pictures. But like I have people like they come to take a photo and then they stand beside me and they're like, holy fuck, he's massive. And then like they're like, I lost my gloves yesterday. And then they're like, I got people, they're like, holy shit, are those your real hands? Like I have product hands. They're just fucking gigantic. I'm like, no, I'm like, you ask that question if I was your proctologist, but like
they're like wearing a bald cap, bend him and send him to, oh my god.
Bend him and send him, no time for the cheeks. Joey, you're such a wholesome guy. Jesus Christ.
I had a few women. Okay. Preface, this is my hair.
Wow.
Yeah.
He rubs it in my face.
You look like you should be on the side of an 80s van. Like
yeah, it's weird. Like I don't go to after makeup, I don't go to hair, but neither does Dino. So
bastard.
But no, like I had 3 women like come up and like they're like loving on my hair and like touching it and talking to me a lot and like saying that I'm attractive and whatnot. And then the
attractive and whatnot.
Well, whatever. Like I can say, oh, he's hot, blah blah blah.
I got it. It's just a funny choice of words.
Yeah. I choose them carefully, and then, but like it was weird. Before I could get any numbers, it was interrupted by their 3 boyfriends.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Which, like, the amount. Okay, Kyle and I have discussed this at length. Is like the amount of women are like, oh hi, and we'll start touching you. And then their boyfriends walk up and they're like, what are you doing? And I'm like, women, I don't. And they're just like, these bitches are crazy. And you're like, yeah.
It's always weird when, like, okay, so someone cheats and then the cuck or whatever you want to say is mad at the person they're cheating with instead of the person who's cheating on them.
Oh yeah,
and it's like, how the fuck was I supposed to know? I've never been in that position, but just I never.
Honestly, they weren't like, I don't know, like
it's just weird.
They didn't seem like the guy like came over and grabbed the girl and immediately like they went and they were in line.
Okay,
they were in line for a maze. Like they got pulled away. So I'm just like, I didn't even. They're like, are you gonna come in the maze with us? Come in the maze with, and I'm just like, okay. And then because I don't speak in character, so think about that even. And then they were pulled away, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what happened to them. And later I saw her walking arm in arm with a guy, and I'm just like, wow, she was inappropriate, like
wildly inappropriate.
Okay. And they weren't mad, like they weren't mad at me, or they were too afraid of me. So like whatever, like
definitely.
So. Favorite Halloween movie, and because it's lowercase Halloween, I'm guessing just any.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, of course. Come on.
Zombieland, I think.
Zombieland a Halloween movie?
Not even a Halloween. Well, whatever.
It's a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
So, like, does it have to be something relating to Halloween directly, or?
I'll say no. Oh man, I don't know. How does this feel? How about we do one of each? Okay, a Halloween and a horror movie.
All right, horror movie, Zombieland, because I like comedy horror, and then, for like actual Halloween, I know this is gonna sound like cutesy, but it's The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Alice is the most non-LA person in the universe, I believe. Like he was meant to be in the Midwest. Like,
I am incredibly earnest because we had a VHS box set of Great Pumpkin, Thanksgiving, and Charlie Brown Christmas, and I fucking wore that shit out sometime around 1997. So
I appreciate his age and referencing
the earnestness. Yeah. All right, fine. What about you?
No, it's just really funny to me that you picked the one that I'm like thinking about. It's the most fucking overrated and boring fucking thing I've ever seen.
Which one? Christmas or
no, the fucking Charlie Brown. It's like there's no Great Pumpkin, nothing fucking happens. It's like if Star Trek was a cartoon. Like
nothing happens in Clerks, and that's a good movie. Like
yes, but that's a personal growth event. It's different, right? It's.
But okay, favorite like what? Anyways,
don't worry about that.
That guy shouldn't talk.
We've said that before, but he's on the internet.
The one person watching. No, like, okay. I really love and for rewatchability, the Conjuring series. Like, I find they're pretty strong, most of them. It's grown, but, like, I love the first. And, as far as, like, horror Halloween watches and stuff. But, like, I gotta go tradition with, like, Hocus Pocus.
Oh, so good. Book, yeah.
But that's, you see, like, I appreciate the fact that both the setup and tension building between humor and horror are so very much the same. Like that is the one.
It's based on surprise.
It's not even surprise. It's that buildup of anticipation that you have for both. Like, where's this going? What's going to happen? Like those two feelings. Like Kyle scares the shit out of people constantly, right? I scare the shit out of people, and then I say something funny because I'm allowed to talk and Kyle doesn't really have the opportunity. So like I'm in my maze and I walk up to people and there's a really cool car that's parked in my area. So people will take a picture thinking that's the way and then turn around and realize they have to go by me. And then they're like, Jesus, fuck no. And I'm like, maybe yes. And when they come close to me and I'm like, oh, you took a picture of my car. Now I got to come to your house and take a picture of your car. We're going to hang out. And then they proceed to completely shit themselves, which for me, and I'm like, that's like getting an Oscar in a Halloween haunt. Like I feel great. Right. So, and then like other people are like, they look at me and they're like, oh, get the fuck out of here. And I'm like, what, is there something on my face? Which I do have like tears of blood coming down my face. And
wait, pull up the picture again. Is it on the?
Oh yeah.
Let's say. Up, there you go.
Yeah. Cool. And hilariously, I'll just look at them. I'm like, oh, what's better? I'm like, I don't even work here. I'm just hanging out. And then they just start dying of laughter, but they're also shitting themselves. So I'm like, that's a win-win for me. I feel like I've achieved something great. It's just the thing.
So I actually have added like a little bit of humor into the shit because people will wave to me and I don't wave. I'm a scary butcher. But like so I have this whole thing about people looking in the pot I have and I scare them along the way. But what's in the pot is a little hand. So when they're scared and the lid is off the pot, I'll take the hand and wave at them to goodbye. And so if they were scared, it's kind of funny. Some people don't even look back. They're usually the people scream and then they laugh as it is. So it's just like, and the best part is like other people who weren't scared laugh at the ones who were, and so it's
also true.
Unless everybody wasn't scared, and then they're just people who spent $40 to walk around and show how unimpressed they are. So
which is definitely hilarious. Like for us, we definitely laugh. People are like, "Well, this isn't even scary." And then like, so I actually, where my area is, once you pass it, there's kind of like just an open hallway, right? Mm-hmm. So people kind of have like a sigh of relief. But right behind me is also like a giant empty barrel, and I have a sledgehammer, and I will just swing and hit it. And it like I literally had to experiment moving it around, so now it like just rings perfectly. So I hit this thing, and they immediately are like, "Da, da, da, da!" And like the best part is people were like, "Oh." Like, so I'll comment, guys will have their hands in their pocket. I'm like, oh, hands in pockets. You must be the brave one. And they're like, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, fucking loser. And then they'll walk by, they're like, this is scary. I'll hit the hammer and they're like, ah! And I'm like, I got you. And that, I'm like, suck it. That's only fair. It's one of those reasonable things. Joey says Atlas was meant to be at church camp. Really, come on. That's a low blow. Yeah. Well, hey. I don't know. Yeah. See, I'm a huge fan of House of a Thousand Corpses just because the first time I watched it, it was in my bedroom. When I was living with my parents, I was in the basement.
Okay.
During the middle of the day. Okay. And I didn't watch a horror movie for 2 years afterward. And I was like, it was because it has no closure at the end, and I was like, gee, because I love horror movies, and then I watched that because I'm like, oh, Rob Zombie, he'll be able to scare me. And he did. Good on you, sir. That's why, like, for me, I love the new Halloweens that he did because I'm like, yeah, you got a giant to play Michael Myers, which, like, yeah, that's exactly. Michael Myers is humongous and grabs people with one arm. I'm like, you know how hard it is to grab? Like, when I was super fat, I could grab people with one arm. Now I still can, but I'm like, I can't muscle them off of a wall as easy as I used to. Right. Yeah. So like when they're like, it's just a normal sized person who's superhuman powers, you're like, no, that's no. I want a big, terrifying man. That came out weird, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I'm here for you, big
boy. Oh, and as well, okay. The worst was every once in a while. So as the night progresses, people get more and more drunk and rambunctious and obnoxious, right? And we're technically not allowed to punch people in the face because we're on the job.
Technically not allowed to? Okay.
Technically, but if my hammer accidentally swings in your face, that's not that's an accident. Accidents happen. It's why Workplace Safety and Insurance Board exists. But hilariously, we walked out of my maze and Kyle was like, yeah, you want to go break? I'm like, yeah, okay, let's go. So as I'm walking out, this one guy looks at, he's like, hey, there's the butcher. And Kyle's like, ugh. And then they look at me and they're like, and there's his dad. And I'm like, motherfucker. So the entire time, Kyle's been like, hey, dad. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Because it's like, they could have said brother, They could have said older brother, you know, and they were like, nope, that's his dad. And I'm like, God damn it.
That's so fucking funny.
It's honestly, as soon as it happened, I was like, ugh. And Kyle was like, yeah, dad. And I'm like, no. It was
that one cut deep immediately.
So deep.
That was a deep cut.
It was a deep burn. It was a deep burn.
I'm gonna be a sea turtle Halloween because I'll have a straw in my nose and a bag on my face. Damn. That is. I don't know who that is, but
OG Micropenis killing it again.
Actually, that's a great segue. So my sister had a Halloween party at her house, and nice. Every year since they've started doing it, they have like a theme, like an aesthetic. So last year it was Mount Vesuvius, right? Giant volcano in the center, spewing steam, and red lights everywhere. Today or this year it was Into Deep, which was just under the sea, right?
All right.
So they had like a giant like whale shark made of like PVC and fabric in the center of the yard where the volcano was last year.
I applaud the commitment. That's amazing.
Yeah. No, and then I asked my sister's husband, I'm like, is that like, are people supposed to go in there? Because there's like flashing lights coming from the mouth.
Yeah.
And he's like, originally, yes, but that thing is being held up with PVC and hope. Don't touch it. So
yeah,
they have that, and then on the like neighbor's house they had a projector up that was it just said Into Deep, and then it had like watery jellyfish stuff like just the like things of the ocean, like stock footage of the ocean being projected. And then at one point, so it was me, Katie, and her friend and the friend's husband. We're all there, and we're like, hey, this is an Under the Sea theme. You should ask the DJ if he'll play that song from SpongeBob where he's like rocking out with the jellyfish. He's like having the rave. Do you know what I'm talking about? So
no,
they sent me back there, and one of them was just like, okay, like he didn't want to. The other one was like, I'll see what I can do. Later in the night, they on the projection they changed it to SpongeBob's rave with the jellyfish.
See, like, oh man,
and like we wanted the song from it, not the
Still though,
that's still funny.
Listen, I feel like Halloween is a great time to be scared and also have a good time, right?
Yeah.
But if they're doing Into Deep for a theme, I feel like they should have had a lot of like bodies with like cement blocks on their ankles, like just standing like they're floating at the bottom of the sea. Like that would be more.
Yeah, that would have been good.
OG Micropenis is on a tear. Like my Halloween theme is Lizzo's booty because it's got a whole lot of crack. And why didn't KY make sex toys? They all knew KY.
I don't know who this is, but this is amazing.
He's got problems, and I like it. Yeah. Hey, listen, the best way to face problems is head on, and just make it everyone else's problem. That's quality entertainment. It works. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is like today. Usually Thursdays and Sundays have been fairly calm when it comes to the Halloween haunt, but now it's like we're leading up to Halloween, so we're working tonight, Monday, and on Halloween, which I'm like last night the coolest thing was there was a moonbow, like, so it's you see the moon and you never seen a moonbow? Hold on, let me just
like a rainbow.
It's like a rainbow but with the moon. I'll send the picture and I'll put it up on the screen. Give me a second here. Because it was really cool.
Yeah, full moon on like Halloween type weekend.
Yeah, it was a full moon last night, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was a little more insane. And sometimes I'll walk through Dino's maze like backwards, like I go in the end because I have privilege, and I'll scare shit out of people. But the one time I got to Dino, and then it was just me and him standing side by side blocking the pathway, and we had people in front of us. And they're like, where do we go now? And then they're like, maybe back this way. And it's like, I had to move because they were like, they didn't want to come through us.
Bro, you're just kind of like, that's just sucks to be you.
I see where we had our error. And then there's Yeah, we have a guy who runs around with a chainsaw.
Oh my God.
There's been a few people have had anxiety attacks.
Yeah, which is like super freaky deaky because like it's they're running around. Okay, so here's the picture of the moonbow last night. If you can see, Atlas.
Okay.
It's the moon, and then it has a ring around it. And that lasted for like a good solid couple hours, but like mad weirdos were coming out of the woodwork yesterday. It was fun.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because I see the idea that a full moon does bring out weirdos has always messed with me, because also Halloween is, I remember we were walking downtown one year, like we were just gonna go for dinner or something, and this guy's walking around in a full Ghostbusters outfit, like
awesome,
like perfect. But he also had the backpack, he had the gun out, and it was making sounds, and he had the scanner, and he's like just walking by storefronts scanning, and every once in a while it would do stuff, and I'm like, bro, I love the commitment. Like I am here for it, because like he was like, and he would like write down. He's like, I gotta come back here, and you're just like, what? Like he was by himself, just walking down the street of Queen Street in Toronto. You're like, super weird, but at the same time, I'm like, it's the one that you could just be yourself, you know?
The craziest thing is I saw him in July doing the same thing.
Yeah. And then you're like, what's going on? Like, why are you still here? And he's like, busting makes me feel good. And then he keeps walking.
It makes everybody feel good.
I went to
just biology, people.
So like yesterday during the day, I finally got my suit ordered, so I had to like go to the place and get measured again. And they were playing, like they just had like a Halloween playlist. So definitely weird when the guy is taking your measurements and you're hearing, like, he gets to your crotch and you hear bustin' makes me feel good. I'm like, just trying to keep a straight face. Like
I just hope you were singing along, and the guy was
especially
like
if he was just taking your inseam and you're like, oh yeah, that's there you go. Here, hold on. This one, In Too Deep, just a pic of the black tune in the edge of the bed.
Wait, is this Joey's alt account or something?
I don't know. It's on Twitch.
Yeah.
Moonbow is what Lizard creates on park benches. That's fair. And R. Kelly is going to be a Ghostbuster Halloween. Can you guess the color of his string? He's the Yellow Ranger, sir. That's fine. That's
you have to be 16 or under.
See, I'm like, here's a question for you guys. How much of the population do you think really like looks forward to Halloween because you're like, I can finally be myself? Like, I'm not the weirdo because everyone's a weirdo on Halloween, right? Like, I feel like there is,
I'll say like 30%.
Yeah, like I think there's a lot more people who are like, I can just weird out and nobody's gonna say shit because they're like, Halloween, people are weird, you know?
I think people dressing up and pretending to be things is really fucking stupid. I am an actor.
I am an actor, good sir.
But that's the thing is, like, I feel like it's definitely that idea. Like, so being the nerd that I am, there's a lot of Batman stories that I've read how like there was one evil villain that was trying to mess with the Justice League's brain, right? And the only one he couldn't get was Batman. And the reason is he was like a dream walker, was because in his dreams, you're like, Bruce Wayne doesn't call himself Bruce Wayne. He calls himself Batman. So just like Superman's alter ego is Clark Kent, right? Like that's his play. You're like, Bruce Wayne is Batman. You know, Bruce Wayne is what he makes up for other people. So it's the same idea where you're like, I think like a lot of people just kind of are like, now I can express myself, you know? And that's, which I'm like, I kind of applaud, but it's like, then why are we going to such an extent to wear a mask on a daily basis when, in all honesty, we've missed the opportunity to start telling people to just go fuck themselves on a regular basis, right? Like, you know, I'm bigger than you. I'll squash you. Get fucked, right? Halloween is where fucking furries came from. Well, yeah.
Probably. I mean, okay, so there's I had an interesting interaction with some of my students the other day where they were like, Mr. D, okay, you know how like occasionally you'll run into like a younger kid who kind of doesn't get that people were alive before them?
Yes.
You know, so they'll just be like, "Oh my god, I just discovered," like, motherfucker, that was like my thing growing up. Which I realize without out of context is incredibly funny, being that we're talking about furries. But they were like, "Mister, do you know what furries are?" I'm like, "Yes, I know what furries are." And they're like, "Are they new?" I'm like, "They're not. No, they're older than me or your parents, or like they've been around a long time."
Have they?
I think so.
I don't feel like good furries have. Like it's just somebody with a tail up their butt, right?
Yeah.
Like it's not. It hasn't been like a buddy of mine. He would come to town because he was living out outside the city.
The specific term furry fandom has been used in fanzines as early as 1983.
See, it's not that long.
It's not older than me. That's fair. Yeah,
older
it's
than
only
me.
Slightly older than me.
Yeah,
but like their parents and me aren't too like. Their parents are like, I was born in like 1987.
I have a hard time like just comprehending that you're like, oh well, you know, my parents and their parents are probably this. So let's just start there.
But like furries can't be around that. Mascot uniforms have come a long way. Because, look at the original Chuck E. Cheese rat, the one that saw shit.
Like, bro, yeah, that is super creepy, right? Like that's like that's why they're like the original. Even if you look at the original Ronald McDonald outfit, you're like, bro, that shit was the thing of some nightmares. You're like, that did not, like, he had a square hat. It was really trippy. You're like, yeah, maybe I just a clown. Like, clowns were the original furries, and then they're like, or we could cover the clown in fur. And you're like, no, it's, you know, but that, yeah, you couldn't do that before.
And that's like, they looked at Ronald McDonald and they grimaced, and that's where that came from.
That is a horrible pun, sir. That is a horrible. The hardest part of fucking a furry is the anxiety of not getting in their hair. I feel like that's part of the fun, but you know, hey, what do I know?
Who is this person?
I don't know, but he's a legend. That's fine.
I like that you're like, we have a new follower. Who the fuck's this guy?
No. Let me be clear. I'm incredibly tickled that this person is not only watching our stream of our episode recording, but is actively participating.
Yeah.
It's just like, of course, we attract the weirdos out of the all good. It's all
we're
good.
All weirdos.
Yeah, we're all weirdos. It's fine.
I don't like him. I feel like he's trying to upstage me.
Oh my god.
But that's like, see, that's where this is. What were we talking about? Halloween. Yeah, that's a thing.
Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Halloween. Something Halloween. This is
Old Navy.
I'm gonna have a dickens of a time getting that episode title.
I like realistic.
It's like Halloween and stuff.
Halloween and stuff. That's
holiday horse shit.
It's like Spirit like the Halloween place that Spirit Halloween that opens up is like, yeah, later on it just becomes Halloween and stuff for the rest of the year, and then they just take down the and stuff and you know, it works out. Perfect. This has been a wild Halloween for me though. This is I've always liked the idea of haunted houses. Like I don't really get scared. Like a jump scare will get me every once in a while, but I'm like, I'm scarier than you. You can't, like, now the only problem is I got Kyle there and I'm like, okay, Kyle's bigger than me, so yeah, that'll freak me the fuck out. But at the same time,
the amount of stories we've gotten out of you working at this haunted house throughout this month, and like, I don't know, you're happier than I've seen you in a while.
It's like, it's weird because at the same time, it's like, and Kyle keeps on bringing this up, and I'm like, no, we can work through this. Is that it's like, yeah, but then like Halloween's gonna be over, and I'm like, but we can be scary all year round because we're gigantic, you know. And I'm just, it's one of those things where I'm just like, I really want to keep doing this because it's so much fun to scare people, and people do not like being like, people love and also hate being scared, but like I consistently, like, people bring children into my maze, which like it's supposed to be no one under the age of 12,
and yet
yeah, but like
recommended apparently, but I remember it being more firm than that. But
yeah, so like kids will walk through with their parents, and I'll look at their parents. I'm like, oh, you guys brought me a snack. I love the little ones. They're nice and crunchy. And the kids are like, wah! And the parents are like, ha, 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 take them. I'm like, oh, that's weird, but okay. Hey, what's funky Uncle John? How are you?
Sometimes I try to, when there's little kids, I try not to traumatize them because, like $40 ticket, $150 therapy
for the rest of their lives.
Yeah. But like, I forget the point. But anyways, I try not to scare them. No, I'll take photos with people, and I'm a butcher, and I have knives. So I put my arm around their head, on their shoulders, and a knife around their neck. But then I do that to children, and I question whether I should. But I try to be like kid friendly, and then if they're really scared, I don't do that. But like, it is a weird situation with the little ones.
Yeah.
And me being massive and a killer, but yeah. It's
like, so last night we had last night was insanely busy, and we had one lady brought her kids, and her two kids were like, nope, absolutely not, I'm not okay with this, don't scare me. And I'm like, what's the matter? You're so scared. I'm like, okay, how about this, we'll make a deal. This time we're going to take a picture together, but next time I get to make you into a sandwich, okay? And they're like, okay, that's reasonable. And they'll take a picture, and I'm like, okay, sandwich, I'll see you later. And I ended up like, so now we have to, instead of going out the front of our mazes, we got to go through the full maze to get out for our breaks. Yeah. So sometimes they'll be like, hey, do you want to go break? And I'm like, okay. And then I'll follow a family out. And then I'm like, hey, sandwiches, what's going on? And I just start calling their kids sandwiches, and the parents are dying of laughter. And the kids, I'm like, oh, you guys look like you're so jumpy. What's the matter? I just got to keep an eye on my lunch. And the kids are like, that's kind of funny. And I'm like, oh, it's delicious is what it is. And they just like, it's been so rewarding, because at the same time, like, one kid pulled on my beard. So I gave him a little poke in the chest, and I'm like, you're not supposed to touch people. That's dangerous. And then he called his sisters wussies because they didn't want to cross my path. And then I found some small, like, they were all Asians, so they were all small, but the smallest of the small ones, I looked at her, I'm like, you look like you're the bravest one. And he's like, no, I'm the bravest one. I'm like, what are you talking about? You ran away from everybody while they were still waiting here. And he was like, no, I went first. And I'm like, no, I saw you run away. You're a coward. And he was losing his mind at being called a coward, which I was like, chop that tree down a little bit. Fuck you, little shit. And then his sisters, I'm like, see, you guys are so brave walking so close. Look at you guys. And they like were just living it up, because they're like, haha, we're the brave ones. And he was dying inside. And I'm like, I hope you do, you little shit. So it's kind of like, I don't know. There's a huge amount of rewards, everything, but it's at the same time, you're not allowed to punch people in the face, which a couple people
kind of deserve it.
Oh, like in life, not just for what they do with us, just in life, they should have been punched in the face a few more times.
Oh, I had I figured out what Alice Cooper does. So we have a guy.
Yeah,
Dino can tell. It's Dino.
Okay. He's dressed.
Does Alice Cooper just worked at the haunted house too? No,
so this guy is kind of like a Wish.com version of Alice Cooper. You're like, so he's got the outfit, like the striped suit on, and the top hat, and the makeup
shirt.
But then he's wearing an Alice Cooper shirt, which I'm like, I don't think Alice Cooper wears an Alice Cooper shirt. I don't think that's a real thing.
That really is.
I just love the idea of
go on.
Kirkland's signature Alice Cooper instruction is done.
But it's
for
like
the foreseeable future.
He is the Halloween version of those costumes where you had like Batman mask and a bib with like Batman's face on it.
Oh yeah. Let's see. Crappy plastic Bubs mask. Yeah. And a crappier plastic apron with a picture of Bubs on it that says Bubs on it.
Yeah, like, and you're just kind of like, okay. And he's just walking around the whole night. He's like, oh, hey, what's up?
And he's like on his phone half the time and shit.
Yeah.
But okay, we have a sea can, a shipping container, giant shipping container that inside is an art display, like exhibit thing.
Yeah.
So I followed some people who were really scared of me in there, because guess what? There's only one way in and one way out. So I went in the door, and you know what? He had his little cane, and all of a sudden I hear bam from the side of the wall. He banged on the side of the can with his cane. Like, this is the most effort I've seen him do there every time, the entire time there. And yeah, it was loud and scared people, but like, it really helped me at the time because, you know, you back people in a corner, but you have to leave. Like, otherwise I have to really commit and kill them, and it's not paid that much. Like,
yeah, it's just They don't include disposal. It's fair. That's OG micro penis. I can't come without being punched in the face. It's a weird time to be alive. That's fine.
I'm telling you, it's Joey's alt account. Like, it has to be.
Do they have a room in the haunted house where Biden sniffs your hair? Like, yeah, it's called the White House.
People's hair.
Interestingly enough, a lot of people sniff Kyle's hair, and then they start asking questions, and he's like,
yeah,
just hold the knife to their neck.
What shampoo do you use? And they're like, coconut. And it's like it's like he doesn't smell haunted.
That's okay. That's the other thing. Like, so I am like constantly throwing Cepacol and Fisherman Friends in my mouth for two reasons. Number one, to make sure my breath doesn't stink, because I get pretty close to people and I'm like, hey, what's up, right? Sandwich. And it's like, yeah, and I'm like, hey, sandwich, you look tasty. And like, you don't want to have like gnarly breath for that situation. And also too, like, I'm constantly being aggressive with my voice, so I'm like, I want to keep everything working. So at the same time, it's kind of like when you have, like, one time I had a lemon honey Fisherman Friend, and one of the other guys in my area, Jacob, he's like, hey, your breath smells like iced tea. That is wild. And I'm like, I don't know if that's a good thing necessarily. So I switched to original Fisherman Friend, and I'm like, I don't think iced tea breath is like, that's gonna really make it for the haunt. I don't, know.
They come in and it smells like it smells like a pleasant afternoon on the veranda. Like, it's not like,
and then you're like, but also a little bit of murder. You're like, I don't think that works. It's
like, my station actually is getting some people like, oh, there's a smell. Because I have bones, like real bones there.
Yeah.
Like they're dog chew toys or whatever.
Okay.
But like for authenticity. But like there's smashed ones and now they're wet and shit.
But also too, Kyle doesn't say this, is that they're chew toys. However, they're also like 1.5 feet long of bone. Okay. So it looks like you're there to kill them with the bone. They're this big. And like, just like, it's like a cow bone. And at the same time, he's like, hey, and you're like, what the fuck is that? And it's real. So he's banging it on shit, and shit is breaking.
Also, it tastes like bacon.
Yeah.
Nice.
I understand the appeal now.
Spending some time chewing on a bone. It's just, that's fair.
I'm pretty committed to things, and so I've tasted the bone.
It's been enjoyable.
Alice Koopa would be a great costume. So like it's Alice Cooper, but he's a Koopa from Mario.
He's also got a turtle shell.
Hey, what if it's Alice in Wonderland and a Koopa?
Maybe. Do you guys like the concept of like pun costumes like that, or is that not really? Like, I know that it's very polarizing for a lot of people.
Yeah, see, for me, it's more so like it's, if you do it well, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's like, it's the same thing with a pun. A good pun is funny. I don't like you as a person, but that's it. Like, hey, that's grade A work. It's not for me, but you're a horrible human being, and that's fine. So my wife likes puns, and I'm like, you're a bad person.
I like puns. I mean, like, so the only pun costume I've done was I wore like werewolf hands and then like a top hat with a Union Jack on it, and then werewolves of London. Like, it just easy.
See, that
didn't have to put a lot of effort into. Yeah, like it was literally just because like I didn't feel like wearing going all out. Of course, Victoria shows up.
Yeah, puns are the best. Yeah,
but yeah, like I you're right. Like, if the costume is done well, but one downside is like once you explain it, they're like, oh, cool, and then that's it. Like, it's not.
Yeah, I'm if you have to explain it, I'm like, yeah, it's not like they're like, but also too, Werewolves of London, I'm like, how are you gonna really convey that other than like a werewolf hat with one of them tall like hairy wiener hats? Like, that would work.
I could just go to London, Ontario, and kind of be like,
Yeah, but nobody wants to go to London, Ontario.
No.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd be the scariest werewolf.
Also factual. That's
walking around all scared, like little old lady got mutilated late last night.
You know what?
Werewolves of London again.
This werewolf's trying to get out of London.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a reasonable. Yeah. No, it's like we've had yesterday. I had a couple dressed as Bert and Ernie, which I'm like, that's a weird choice.
That's pretty cool.
But they did. I even called them out on it. I'm like, so there was one couple had Mario and Luigi, which I'm like, that's a weird couple choice. And then there was another couple wearing Bert and Ernie right behind them. I'm like, oh, Mario, Luigi, how are you? I'm like, Bert and Ernie, what's happening? And then the lady was like, he called us Bert and Ernie. And I'm like, oh, were you not meant to be Bert and Ernie? Because your sweaters are distinctly Bert and Ernie.
Yeah.
So
what were they supposed to be if not Bert and Ernie?
No, I think they were. I think that most people just didn't get it.
Yeah. That's I've seen a lot of people with like newer characters, and I'm like, okay, what are you, like a laser wizard? I don't know. And and they are like, no, I'm this person. I'm like, yeah, that sounds made up.
There was a lot of Harry Potter things, and then
yeah,
I liked it. There was two girls in onesies. One was a pig and one was a cow. And then so they came to me for a picture, and I made sure they put their hood up so they had their head on. And then I like leaned them over the table and was chopping off their heads. I'm like, this is how we deal with the livestock.
Oh, bro. Yeah. No, I called them. I was like, oh, sandwich fillings, delicious. I've only had children all night. And they were just like, what the fuck? And I'm like, nah.
There was a guy at the party last night who he took like a construction worker's helmet and then built an entire anglerfish around it. It was awesome. So like the mouth is where like his head is, right?
Yeah.
So it's got the teeth, and then the eyes are up here, and then the lure is like hanging down here.
Which is a female anglerfish, just to everyone knows.
But it was still really fucking cool because
it was super cool.
Walking around this under the sea themed party, just
see that's the thing is like if you make a wild fish head like or a fish as your helmet, right? That's wild, and then you just wear it all blue. And now you're an ocean. Perfect. Like, that works like magically, you know?
Yeah, and now he has this like silver bullet of a costume if he ever doesn't want to try anymore. Just, you know.
I put in a lot of effort once, and that's how you get married, right? You put in a lot of effort once and seal the deal.
How you get costumes like this? You're like, I'm a cat. Do. Perfect. You know? Makes life a lot easier. And you scare the shit out of a cat.
That's true.
Mario is the greatest video game. It taught me to eat magic mushrooms and experiment with pipes. Lesson learned. That's fair.
There was an Onion article. I think it was from today or recently, but it was like couple dressed as Mario and Luigi found making out on couch, and then it's just like that's what I imagined when you were saying the thing about the couple. As
like Mario definitely, and that's what I was like. They're brothers. That's odd.
It's to me incest.
I feel like that should have been OG Micropenis's comment. It's to me incest. Yeah, that's fine. It's like that's also too that you know what, like yesterday it was actually quite cold, so the excuse to wear a cape over your stuff and be like, I'm Harry Potter, you're like, that's a good deal. You're like, that makes life easier because it was cold, bro. I had multiple people who were like, how are you not cold? And I'm like, I'm a giant and I'm a monster. I'm not cold. You're like, that's a simple.
Yeah, but we have a dude and his wife, and together they weigh 100 pounds. And like
maybe,
they run around. He has a chainsaw and she does crazy stuff. But like they're like, he has no shirt on and she's in like a bra top, just like giving her because they go their specialty. So they come in like for 20 minutes a couple times and just run hardcore, and then they go and rest and warm up. So they stay warm unless they stop. Right.
I just love the idea of like, okay, so I know frostbite is a bit of a problem, so we'll put you to work 3 minutes at a time, and then go sit by the radiator until it's time.
It was not even like this was not thrust upon them. This was like they created this.
It's hilarious because they like it was all their own. They're like, hey, do you guys have any of those like sparking ferro rods? And they're like, we can get them. And now they're like, the wife has gloves with those little sparking bits on them, the little flints. So she's like scraping her hands on the ground. And it's like sparks are going flying. And you're just like, oh, that is absolutely fucking terrifying. They're also like covered in like cuts and blood, and at the same time, essentially, it looks like any couple from Oshawa. There's a similar kind of comparison.
And he has a chainsaw that like it does the chain's off, but otherwise it's fully sounding functional chainsaw. So
super scary.
Yeah, he will not back down,
no.
even when logic dictates.
Yeah. So he came into my maze and essentially blocked the entire hallway, and like a girl had like an anxiety attack, and everyone's like, okay, so listen. So the funny thing is that Kyle and I, like, he is, how tall is he? He's probably like 5'7", 5'8", like
probably.
He's not short, but like he's just like a little below average height wise, right? But he's also like a very, very thin guy, right? But he's young. So Kyle and I had to explain to him, like, hey, so listen, this is your first time being like really scary to people. So we're going to explain, like, you kind of have to leave them an exit, or like they will fall down and start crying. Like you can't like immediately cut off all exits, because that's when you go to jail. Like it's not. And he was like, oh, so you can't just like block a whole way. You can't. He's like, oh, okay. And it was like this dawn of knowledge. He was like, oh, really? You're like, yeah, that's why they don't chase us with pitchforks and torches, is because there's always an exit, and they just have to be smart enough to figure it out. It's no problem. Huh? Like someone who's alone, you don't scare really close because they're alone, right? Like there's a certain thing you tap into when you're by yourself, that if they get too scared, like they will lash out, and you're like, that's a bad situation, right? Where if it's a couple, they're together, that's a sense of safety. The guy is like, I'll use her as a human shield. She's like, he'll save me. He won't. It's fine. So like you those elements, this guy Jordan had never thought of, right? Because like he works construction, he's a really good guy, but at the same time, I'm like, he's not like, he probably throw hands. He works construction, he should be able to, right? So
yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, it's not going to be with me or Kyle, because that would be fucking hilarious, right? Like it's just not. So
but they're like scary. It's funny because I'll have people that like will run away, other people will walk, but like I'll have families who will like, oh, the guy grabs, or they'll grab their friend and try to bring him close. I'm just if they can't run, they either might have a breakdown and like cry, or what the fuck am I gonna do once I catch them? Like I can't do anything. So like, you know what I mean? Like them running away, eventually I'll just stop chasing them, and then I'll do it again later. But like if you were holding them, what the fuck do you want me to do? I'm not actually gonna murder somebody.
Exactly. Right.
Like, and if I was, it would probably be you, because you're a dick. For holding the fucking person, like you're ruining the scare. Let them run away.
Yeah, it's very much that kind of mix that you need. That also too. OG Microbeers. I'm going to Alabama for Halloween. I hear it's the best place to pump tin. Oh my god, Jesus fuck.
That's probably a good place. Just
because you hate puns. Thank you. That is quality. That is quality.
All right. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for coming on, Dan, once again.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people find you and follow you and all that good stuff?
Well, it's at Kyle Petryla on fucking everything, because nobody, no competition for that name.
You and me both.
And apparently, from what I've been told, I'm all over Instagram and all over TikTok. So send that shit to me, because I don't see it. And if you're single and attractive female, you can find me too.
Well, here's his
single
number.
And lurking. Anyways.
Yeah. He'll be outside your house waiting. It's fine. Kyle, thanks for all these years of the instant Opox. I don't know who that is.
I think is that the Quaker Oats guy, or like
that doesn't make sense. I don't.
That's my guess. Yeah.
Oh, that guy.
You can follow the show at Generation Dan anywhere you find your social medias, or whatever the fuck you call it.
You can't abbreviate social media. How dare
social
you,
media,
sir?
whatever. All right, leave a like, leave a comment, all that good stuff. Where can they find you, Dino?
Dino the Genetic Marvel. And feel free to comment. Let us know what you wanted to be for Halloween and what was your best and worst costume. That I think is a fair. And then why you are now a furry, you weirdo. That's also a fair question. So
follow me at Atlas Novak on all the social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff. You can also follow my other podcast, Nexus at Night, at that handle anywhere you get your podcast, or check out my YouTube channel, The Epileptic Comic. Little mini sketches about what it's like to have epilepsy, among other things. So thanks everybody for listening.
How am I the dick for wanting you to pronounce things fully?
Nope.
That's absolutely ridiculous.
Just let it happen. It's fine.
Bye.
I trust this classified. Oh my god, bye.